Hello, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So today I'm going to be doing my 5 favorite romance novel of 2017. So this year I read quite some interesting story, and these 5 were like my most memorable and the ones that I still would love to read again because that's how much I enjoy them. So the first one is called Egomaniac, and yeah, it has that juicy cover. So this is by Vi Keelan, and she's just known to have these interesting storylines in her books. And she also writes sometimes with Penelope Ward. So if you like her, you will also enjoy this author as well. And it's a story about a lawyer. He's a divorce lawyer. He represents high-profile men that have money and trying to hold on to their money. So he's a shark, and he always wins. And this lady one day is moving to his office, and she, of course, thought that he was an intruder, but kind of find out she was conning, believing that this office space was available and at the price that she actually gave the person all her money to. He felt sorry for her, but he was a little smitten by her, how she looks, and he allowed her to stay until she was able to find her own office space. But he didn't really think about what she does for a living. She is a marriage counselor. She's in the business of saving marriage while he's in the business of ending the marriage. So between the tension between what they do and their opinions, made it a little juicy, and they fell for each other. But all was well until eventually his life drama resurfaces. His previous relationship wasn't completely closed as far as things that were going on. There was issues that were completely basically had the potential of ruining their relationship, and how they dealt with it is what made the story interesting and went beyond just romance. So I love this story. I do recommend it. And also, I've written all these books that we will be discussing. They all have written reviews on my blog, so you can always check those out for more information on the books. The second one is Scandalous. I already did a video of this as well. This is the 4th book in the Sinners of Saints series, and my favorite out of the 4. And this is a story that covers these 4 guys who are, dominant alpha male, and these women that come in their life, and how they woo these women, and some of these women were just as aggressive as they were in terms of what they wanted. But in this story, we have this guy who's a bit different, where he ended up having a not so great time one night and ended up with a child. And the mother of the child decided she doesn't want this, and she left the child with him and disappeared. He knew, didn't know where she was. And this child's a bit emotional child. She doesn't speak. She doesn't communicate much. So, he was struggling with that as how he's, left with his child, and he doesn't know how to communicate with her, and she won't give him any feedback. But then one day, this young girl was able to get his daughter to smile and communicate back, and and he was intrigued and wanted to know more about her, not just in terms of for the child being the girl being around his daughter, but also for him. But the problem was, she was the daughter of one of his business partners that he doesn't get along with. So there was that forbidden fruit that he shouldn't be touching, but eventually, of course, he touched. So it's a really, really good story. It's a lot. It's called Scandalous for a reason, because there's a lot of issue with this book. There's a lot of money issues. There's power. There's age. There's dealing with kids with disability. There's abuse. There's so much going on in this story that I literally read this book in a day because I just could not put it down. It was that good to me. So highly recommend it. Now the third one on my list is called Wait for It. I did not realize this book was the longest book I read this year. I was shocked because this book was 670 pages. I never felt it. I just completely did not feel this book. I didn't realize it was that long. And I loved it. This is a story about she was a girl in her late 20s, and she inherited her 2 nephews after their parents died, and went from being free-spirited, doing what she wants, the fun aunt, to now having to be a parent to these kids. And she decided to move to a small town because she felt like it might be safer, easier to raise these kids, and she will feel a little bit more secure. But little she know that her next door neighbor oftentimes have disputes, and she got in the middle of it and met one of the next door neighbor, and somewhat eventually they build a friendship and a bond, even though he's very militant, he's very serious, he doesn't really smile much, he doesn't really hang out, he's just that kind of personality that not really warm, but for some reason he felt some when he found out her story and the kids, he got fond of her, wanted to help her, so he did the whole helping around the house. He was also a coach, and he made sure that one of the nephews which was on the team that he was coaching, that he was okay. And he was doing all of this, but she was struggling. She was struggling being a mother now, and knowing what to do and discipline the kids and what not to do. And then she had moments where she felt like she was failing. And I love these kids, especially the older kids. He was such a, he became like the person she had to cry on, shoulder to cry on it. And there was moments where he made her feel okay, like, "Aunt, you're doing a good job, we're okay," that kind of feeling. He was such a good kid, and I love how they portray the kids in the story. And but it's a slow romance. There's no insta love in this. This is like a friendship that blossomed into romance, and that's one of the good thing about this kind of romance. And I think a lot of people would appreciate this kind of romance more versus like the insta love and the jumping into the bed quick kind of thing. You won't get that in this book. This is a slow build up romance friendship that ends up into a romance, and I love it. Now, the fourth book on my list is by Miss Brittany Cherry. And I'm telling you, this lady here, she is an African-American author that comes up with these interesting romance that are all emotional. Like, these men are damaged men who that somehow were able to break through what was holding them back from living their life and feeling loved and being able to love someone else. And that's how she portrayed these men in the Element series. So this one is the fourth book in the Element series. I only read 3. I missed one of them, but this one was very, very good. I agree with her. She did not give a synopsis that was proper. It was so vague that it didn't give you a lot of information, and I think that's what she when you read it, you understood why she did that. This is a book that could have been easily distasteful. That could have been easily have people not wanting to pick it up because of the two characters in the book that fell in love. And I, at first would have probably, if I knew that's what about, I don't know how I would have felt at first, but I thought it was a good story. Loved it. It pulled at your emotion. It was just well done all around, and it talks a lot about family and scars, and having things that people hold on to past their childhood, and as an adult still holding on to it and never quite being able to handle what happened to them as a child. And I think that's what I really love about her writing when she talks about these men in her books, and even the women. I mean, a lot of times the women in the book are really like one of my favorite from her is oh my god, Silence Water. And if you ever want to pick up one of her books, I recommend that one as well. So yeah. And now, my final book that I love was A Love Letter Whiskey. This is a book that stirred all kind of emotion in me. At one minute I was happy, the next minute I felt kind of sad about what was going on. This book, I wanted to throw my candle because I'm upset with the characters. This book is like that perfect story that has all the emotions that you want, that will not make you want to put the book down, that you want to know what's going to happen at the end. You want to know how are they getting through this. This is a story that stems from high school to their adults. It's over a decade of drama of them not being able to make decisions for them as a couple because, like whiskey. I think this book, I know everything I should know about whiskey after reading this book, because everything, and it makes sense how they relate whiskey to the romance between these two characters, because they are made each other feel good, but they also their worst enemy when they're with each other. They have broken so many people's heart in this story. They have tried to live to to what they think their family wants or what they think their family don't want. You know, you have one character in the story, she is a biracial girl. There was this part when she felt like, oh no, I need to be with this black guy because he represents what, you know, that social ladder that she needs to be climbing up to. And it's just so much going on, and you know, and hearts, and there were marriages that wasn't between them, and there's all kind of things that went on in this book that I get excited every time I talk about it, because I'm like, this is a book that I would recommend because it is not your typical romance. This is like that romance novel that full of, you know, things that aren't really quite romantic, or more scandalous and dramatic and sad and, you know, at times hurtful, you know. But I thought this book did exactly what the author wanted. The author wanted to grab at every emotion you could think of from the reader, and that's what it did, and that's why I love this book so much. So that is all my top 5. Hopefully you guys can pick up one of them, enjoy the story, and that's it. And what is your favorite romance novel if you read any this year? And you know, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.